Hi, this is Lee from the Bar Exam Toolbox and the Law School Toolbox. Welcome back. 'Tis the season for bar results. So in today's podcast, we're sharing common questions we receive from bar takers seeking advice about studying again. One of my favorite questions that I get is, can I pass the test if I study again? Which I think is a really vulnerable question, and I know why everyone asks it. But then I feel like my answer is always the lawyer answer of, it
Right.
depends.
It depends. I don't know if
It
I mean, for
depends.
me, it's always like, all right, well, I'm not telling you you can't. I mean, I think you probably can if everything aligns, but we need to figure out what happened, what you're going to do differently, how this is going to set you up for success in a way that you weren't set up for success before. Sometimes lightning just strikes. I mean, we work with a lot of people,
Sure.
and sometimes, frankly, we're surprised that some people pass and some people fail. We're 100%
Mm-hmm.
sure when somebody goes into that test whether they're going to pass or fail. It depends on a lot of factors. Um, and it depends. I mean, there are all kinds of different people. Do you have, like we said, the accommodations thing? We work with students who are foreign trained attorneys, completely
Mm-hmm.
different scenario than somebody who's done a JD. Maybe you went to school in New York and now you're sitting in California and you've never taken any California bar classes. It's like, okay, these are all things that can be addressed. Um, I never like to tell people like, absolutely not, you're never going to pass. I don't think that's accurate for anyone. We've seen people make a lot of progress.
Yeah.
But I've also seen people who failed by 5 points fail again repeatedly by 5 points.
Yeah. I think that this is just one of those things where the bar is so arbitrary on how it is graded. Like, I can't tell you that if you turn in an answer that every single bar grader is going to give you the same score. They're going to do their best to do that. But that's why there's that 5 points can be so elusive, right? I mean, it can be like, I don't know why this one essay got this exact score. But I can tell you that you can set yourself up for success and try and just leap over that pass line. So one of the things you have to think about is that you're not just trying to find 5 more points, you're trying to find 20 or
Right.
30 more points, and then you hope that that works out. I will say that there are some bar providers out there who talk to folks and they tell them they don't think they can pass. Have you had anyone say that they've been interviewing? I don't even know who it is, but someone out there is having these consultation calls and telling people that they shouldn't sit for the test.
I mean, I definitely have heard that. People are like, somebody told me I'm never going to pass. And, I mean, like I said, if somebody's in California, if they're 300 points from passing, I can kind of see why somebody might say that. Like, do I think that's the right thing to say off the bat? No. Like, I want to dig into that and find out, like, okay, well, why do we think this? You got the score you got. And if the answer is like, I studied for 10 minutes and took the test, it was like, okay, the score tells me nothing. But if it's somebody who really, did everything it seemed like possibly they could do and they're still 300 points off, at that point, that might be a different
Mm,
conversation.
yeah, I know. I just think that like we've said, there are so many things that can happen in the room that it's so hard to say that this one performance on this one day, it means that there's like a barrier
Right.
to
There's no hope
entry for
ever. You're
you.
done.
There's no hope, or you have to study for a year, or you have to do all of these things. That's why I think it's really about, an evaluation of what can you do to pass and not whether or not you can pass. And all you can do is, collect points from all these different places and hope that you can jump over that threshold. But I don't know. I wouldn't consider myself an optimistic person. I don't think anyone would describe me that way. I don't know. You've known me for a million years now. But I am one of those people who's like, listen, we can all do a lot of really hard things if we want to try and do them. So I'm not just going to tell someone, do it, it'll be great. But I think, I've seen people do amazing things. And with the right help and the right support, who knows? I
Yeah.
mean,
I think that's the thing. I mean, we've been doing this long enough that we've seen a lot of people make a lot of improvement. So I'm just always hesitant to say off the bat when I look at a score report. And like we look at a lot of score reports. I honestly look at some where I'm like, wow, I've never seen a score that low before. On a pretty consistent basis. I'm like, huh, that's a new one. So I want to talk to that person
mhm.
and like kind of figure out what happened. But I think it's more we can't answer, can you pass? I mean, who knows?
No,
We can tell you
who
what you
knows?
need to do to get yourself closer to passing. And, if you execute on those things, hopefully you can pass. But nobody, I mean, anyone who tells someone like, oh, I can guarantee you're going to pass the bar, they are lying to you.
Yep. Well, thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe, give us a like, and leave us a comment. And check back for future updates on preparing for the bar. Thanks for watching.